Good day, my dear students, and welcome back here in our chemistry class. And for this video, I'll be discussing scientific notation. So when you say scientific notation, the decimal point in the original number is moved to the right or left, so that only one non-zero digit is located at the left of the decimal point. Now, the number shown is being multiplied by 10 raised to a power that is equal to the number of places the decimal point was moved. So example of a scientific notation is 3.3 times 10 raised to the power of 3. So yung sinasabi natin dito, as you can see here, we have one non-zero digit. And then we have here as our base. And here is our exponent. So that's how you write a scientific notation. Now, what do you mean by moving right or to the left? So here's the rule. For numbers larger than 1, the decimal point must be moved to the left. And the exponent that will be used in the notation is a positive number. So example on this one is 4.5 times 10 raised to 3. Example, this one. So we have here a one non-zero digit, and then since it was in original form, if we're going to back to the standard form, example, this is a 4,500. Now, we have here a decimal point where we move it 3. 1, 2, 3. Kasi isa lang daw, no? Isa lang daw yung kailangan natin. So, we come up here, a 4.5. And so, we move it 3 times. That will be our exponent. The number the times you move, how many times you move the decimal, that will be your exponent. So, since it's going to the left, that will be a positive. So, may positive sign tayo dito. Now, numbers without decimal point is understood to have a point after its last digit. Such as example on this one, we have a 4,500. So, since we do not see any decimal point, so we always assume that there is a decimal point here and we move it 3 times. So, 1, 2, and 3. That's why we come up here a 4.5, then we automatically put the base times 10, and then how many times we move it, then that will be our exponent, positive 3. Next, for numbers smaller than 1, the decimal point must be moved to the right and the exponent to be used is negative number. So if you have an answer of this kind, of example, 0.131, so we move it to the right. Since 0 here is smaller than 1, definitely we move the decimal on the first non-zero. Okay, so we have an answer of 1.31, then times 10, then how many times you move? So definitely one movement only, so we write here negative 1. Okay, we put minus and then 1. Another example, if we have another 0.00123, so definitely we move the decimal point to up to the non-zero digit. So 1, 2, and then 3. We have here 1.23. We put the base again, times 10, and then we move it 3 times, so we put negative 3. So that's how you write the significant figures into a scientific notation. Now, examples are here. We have examples here. So this is in a standard form. Naka-standard form sila, and we're going to convert into a scientific notation. So first, we assume that there's a decimal point here. So we move it to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So the answer here is 6 times 10 raised to 5. So since we go to the left, so the integer will be positive. Next, here's our decimal. So we're going to move it to the first non-zero digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 1.4 times 10 negative 7. So since that we move it to the right, we put the integer of negative. So let's try this again, third bullet. We assume that we have a decimal point here. So we move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we move it 8 to the left. So that will be 1.24. 1.24 times 10 to 8. Next, on the fourth bullet, here's our decimal point. We move it to the first non-zero digit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that will be 3.4. Again, 3.4 times 10 to negative 13. On the fifth bullet, we assume again here a decimal point, move it to the first and zero digit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will be 1.24. So we round it off. Times 10 to 7. And last, here's our decimal point. We move it until the first non-zero digit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That will be 6.9 times 10 to negative 9. So always remember, when you move the decimal, if you move the decimal point going to the left, the integer should be in positive. Now, if you move the decimal point to the right, okay, in a standard form, this is standard form, move it to the right, and definitely the integer should be in negative form. Now, let's try this one. Perform the mathematical operation. So first, we have to convert it into a standard form. Now, in a standard form naman po, you go from scientific notation to standard form. Okay? So, the rule here will be changed. So, since in standard form, I'll put a note here, in standard form, okay, when we move to the left, the integer will be positive, and then if we move to the right, the integer will be negative. Now, in scientific notation, so since we move to the left, and we're going to go back, definitely moving to the right for positive, and then moving to the left for negative. To make it clear, example on this one. Since the integer here is positive, the movement of the decimal point here will be to the left twice. So that will be, 1, 2. So we got 140. And then here, since we have a positive integer of 3, we move it 3 times. So 1, 2, and then 3. So we added to 2,300. Okay, next. Since we have here a negative 1, so negative siya, we'll convert it into a standard form. So we will move it to the left. Move it to the left, and that will be 0.13 minus, so we have here a negative 2, so move it 2 twice, so 1, 2, that is 0.096. Next, negative 1, that will be, so move natin yung decimal point here, that is 0.4 multiplied, so 3 times natin siyang i-move, so 1, 2, 3, that is 0.002. Next, 4, we move it 4 times, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that will be 6,000 divided by, so we have positive 2 integers, so we move it 2, so 1, 2, 300. Okay, so as you convert into a standard form, this time you compute. Now, here's another technique if you're going to use a calculator. So with the help of this calculator, again, we can simply input everything. So if we're going to use operation of addition first, always use the open parenthesis, and then you write the values at 1.4, and then you type multiplication times 10, and then use this x and y, and again, let's repeat this one. Open parenthesis, 1.4 multiply to 10, then use these integers. For the exponent, write 2, and then you close it. You close it like this. Put the operation plus sign, and then another open parenthesis, and you put 2.3. Okay, you can put 2.3 or 2.0. That will be the same. Okay, that will be still the same. Times 10, then again exponent to 3, and then close. So you got 2,440. So that is the answer on this one. So 2,440. So if we're going to add, if you will observe, still the same answer, right? So you don't need to convert the scientific notation form always into a standard form. If you'll be using a calculator, you can simply input everything. Okay? Next, let's clear this one. Open parenthesis, and we put 1.3 times 10, then raised to negative 1, and then you close. Then put operation subtraction, open parenthesis again, 9.6 times 10, then raised to negative 2, and then you close it again, and you will get 0.034. Okay. Now, for multiplication, open parenthesis again, 4 times 10 raised to negative 1, and then close parenthesis, then multiply Multiplication, open parenthesis again, 2 times 10, then raised to negative 3, and then close the parenthesis, you will get 0.088. Okay? .008 rather. Now, here in division, you can do the same on this one. You got two options. Okay, it's either open parenthesis again, you got 6 times 10 raised to 4, and then you close it, and then you click the division. Then open parenthesis again, 3 times 10 raised to 2, and then close. So the answer will be here, is 200, right? Now, another thing, para hindi kayo mahirapan on this one, we have a shortcut also. If you will see this x over y, under by the word calc, okay? So you can first simply click that, and then you type. So open parenthesis, you get 6 times 10 raised to 4, and then you close. Then click the arrow down para mapunta ka sa ilalim. Now the denominator. Now you write open parenthesis, then 3 times 10 raised to 2, and then close. You see, there is still the same answer. So that will be the shortcut para mabilis siya na input on your calculator. Okay? Now, going back here, let's try this on your own. So you need to express each number in a scientific notation. Now you can pause this video and then try to solve, and then play it again so for you to see the correct answers. Now, to express this in scientific notation, again, we assume that we have here a decimal point. So we move it to the left. So that will be 1, 2, 3. That will be 3 times 10. And how many times you move it, the decimal point? So that is 3. So the answer will be 3 times 10 to the power of 3. That is positive. Next, assume we have decimal point here. So 1, 2. We got 4.47. So 4.47 times 10 raised to 2. Next, we have here a decimal point. So we're going to move it to the right. So 1, 2, 3. So you got 3 times 10 to negative 3. For number 4, we have a decimal point here. We move it to the right. So 1, 2, 3. So 1.25 times 10 to negative 3. Next, on number 5, assume that we have a decimal point here, and then we move to the left. So 1, 2. That will be 8.72 times 10. Then we have a power 1. On number 6, we have the decimal point here. So we move it on the first non-zero digit. So that will be 1. So the answer will be 9.43 times 10 to the power of 1, negative 1. For number 7, we assume here again we have the decimal point. So let's move to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. That will be 1 times 10 to positive 6. And lastly, on number 8, we assume that we have a decimal point here. So let's move it to the left. So 1, 2, 3. So 4.4. Sorry for that. And then we move it 3 times 10 to positive 3. So that's how you convert a standard form value into a scientific notation. Okay, so this will be the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching. Now, if you have a concerns and you need more clarification, you may take a screenshot, and if you have further inquiries, you may direct message me. So thank you and see you on the next.